Listen closely. This is for every black woman who has ever felt too soft, too unsure, too sheltered, too afraid to leap, who is walking in this same road, not because she is lost, but because she is becoming. Now, what you thought was a musical was actually a coming of age ritual disguised in rhythm, color, and soul. This isn't just Dorothy's journey. This is the psychological blueprint of a young black woman stepping into womanhood. Released in 1978, in the wake of post civil rights identity reconstruction, The Wiz emerged during a time when black Americans were redefining self image, autonomy, and belonging. Dorothy, played by Diana Ross, is not a child here. She is grown, but not yet formed. A school teacher, sheltered, hesitant, still living under the psychological weight of stay safe, stay small, don't go too far. This is not just a character trait, this is generational conditioning of fear of expansion. Dorothy's storm is not just weather, it is anxiety about leaving the known self. In attachment theory, this is called fearful avoidance, the desire to grow, but the terror of what growth demands. So her mind does something brilliant. It creates odds, and every person she meets is a projection of the men and women she will encounter while trying to become herself, and the men as archetypes of her dating path. The Scarecrow, played masterfully by Michael Jackson, a genius who doesn't know he's a genius, talented, creative, visionary, but he needs her validation to see himself clearly. This is the man who says, I don't know what I would do without you. And for a woman still trying to find herself, that feels like purpose, but it's actually emotional dependency disguised as love. And then we have the Tin Man, played by Nipsey Russell, a man whose heart has been broken so deeply he numbs himself to survive. He loved the wrong woman for too long. Now he meets the world with an axe, not because he's cruel, but because he's protecting what's left of himself. And this is where the trauma bonding territory occurs. But crucial character is the lion, strong in presence, weak in identity. His roar is loud, but his foundation is fragile. There are layers here, questions of masculinity, protection, and self acceptance. He represents the man who wants to be strong for her, but hasn't yet made peace within himself. And a woman cannot feel safe with a man still negotiating his own existence. So this is where the poppy field of temptation and initiation happens, in the alley scene with the flowers. Right? This is not just danger; it is curiosity, the pull towards sex, pleasure, indulgence, altered states, the fast life. And in neuropsychology, this is the dopamine exploration of the brain seeking identity through sensation. And notice, they don't die there. They learn limits because every woman must walk the road at least once to understand the fulfillment without alignment is just another trap. And so the women that she comes across are mirrors of her evolution. Ada Pearl is the bag lady. She carries everything, too much for far too long. And this is inherited trauma. Thus, why her magic is weak. This is the black woman taught to survive, but carrying pain like its purpose. And Erica Badu would later echo it, saying, Bag lady, don't you go hurt your bag. Carrying all those bags like that. And this is the warning. And Ani M, the provider without expansion, is what she is. She loves Dorothy, but she cannot release her because she herself was never free. So her love becomes control. And to Dorothy, that feels like If I leave, I lose love. And Glinda is the ideal self, played by Lena Horne. She is not just a guide, she is the woman Dorothy becomes, grateful, knowing, soft, but powerful. And when she says, believe in yourself, that isn't advice, but more like activation. And we can't forget about Eveline. Eveline is the shadow mother. Eveline is not just evil, she is a distorted authority. She represents labor without love, discipline without nurturing control, without care, and deeper still, she is how Dorothy felt when being pushed out of comfort. Because growth often feels like punishment before it feels like power. And we can't forget about Toto. See, Toto, he was the inner voice. He's not just a dog, he is intuition, innocence, courage, spiritual alignment. He is the part of her that already knows you're ready. But she keeps trying to prove it instead of trusting it. And then there's the maison scène, psychology yet again. Look at the world around her. Harlem is grounded, muted, and real, whereas Oz is exaggerated, theatrical, surreal, and that's more than style. That's internal versus external reality. The camera moves more fluidly in Oz because her mind is finally moving. The environment grows darker than brighter as she sheds her fear and then claims identity. And then we can mix the myth and prophecy together as Dorothy did not find her way home. She redefined what home means. Home is not a place, it is a state of self possession. So she didn't meet those men by accident. She chose them because every version of love she encountered was a mirror showing her who she was before she became who she is. My name is Aaron C. Butler, and this is Movie Night Bang.